We're going to talk a lot about Seminary Ridge today, but out in front near the traffic light, there's another low ridge stretching to the left and the right. That would be McPherson's Ridge. McPherson's Ridge is where the first real heavy fighting started on the morning of July 1st, 1863. We'll take a look, by the way, at some of the monuments in a bit, but what I'll do first, I'll take us out to a safe parking area, talk about the very beginning of the battle. And that barn was owned by a man named Edward McPherson, giving this ridge the name McPherson's Ridge. So that barn was right in the center of the fighting. The stone part is original.
Right. Wow.
Even though the wood has been redone, that's very much the way it looked at the time. It had wood in the sides then also. The man on the statue on horseback on the left is Union General John Reynolds. He was the commander of the Union 1st Infantry Corps at that time. Now, Reynolds' 1st Infantry Corps had approximately 11 to 12,000 soldiers on the early morning of day one. They'll have considerably less by the end of day one. And of course, naturally, if you have 11 to 12,000 infantry and they're marching in columns along the roads, they'll be stretched out for miles. But the leading elements of Reynolds' 1st Corps began to reach the battlefield a little bit after 10 a.m. They were marching more or less from your right, from the south of this area. Now, the reason I think this is important is this. With the arrival of Union infantry, it changed the whole nature of the battle. Before 10 a.m., the casualties were still very light. Again, General Buford, with his dismounted cavalry, was not even trying to fight a pitched battle, mainly trying to stall the Confederates and buy time. But now, after 10 a.m., we have infantry fighting infantry, and the casualties mount rapidly at that point. And in fact, General John Reynolds himself was killed. This area here. At the very beginning of the battle, General John Buford would occasionally go up in that tower to watch his dismounted cavalry fighting out in McPherson's Ridge, several hundred yards to the west of us. Right. Pretty good observation point back then.
How's it going? So where are you from?
Reading, PA.
Reading? Oh, so you're pretty close?
Yeah, not too far.
You usually come every year for this, or?
Actually, I just got back into it. I did it in college and came to the conclusion last summer I couldn't let the 150th anniversary go by without trying back in, and went down to Antietam last year and got the bug again. So.
When did you first start? Like, when was that first period of time before you went into your lull?
It was the early 90s, and went down to college, and there was a club on campus that was a special forces colonel actually was the sponsor of the club, and he'd been doing it since the 60s. Then in '94 I got commissioned in the Army, and they sent me up to Alaska. Not a lot of reenactment up there, so went to a hiatus for a while. even one of the guys pointed out that, you know, this is probably next to Waterloo the most known battle in the world is Gettysburg. You know, people even in Europe, they know what it is. We've got, I want to say, 5 guys that are here right now who are actually from England that flew over.
Yeah, I
here.
talked to one of them.
Right?
One guy, yeah, from England.
Right,
yeah,
right.
That's amazing.
And I know this weekend, this weekend there's 2 reenactments. There's one last weekend and one this weekend. One of the 2 of them. One of the groups I'm on a newsletter for, they've got 20 guys from Germany flying over just for the reenactments.
And just about everything you keep authentic as much as possible.
As much as possible, yeah. There's a few things that are kind of hard to.
How long have you been here so far?
I was here for the last weekend's reenactment, so I've been here since Friday morning.
Friday morning. So no showers, just.
No. Now most of the guys here are here came for the living history, which started. We got here on Sunday night, and then like I'll be just this is a 10-day stint for me. So
any family members that were in the Civil War that you know of?
Yep, I've got 3 direct ancestors and a few on grade 8, and we believe the records on the Confederate side are always a little sketchy because a lot of them were lost and were kept since the government didn't exist anymore. But we believe he was wounded over on Seminary Ridge on the first day's fight. His brigade was just crushed. And on my mother's side, Hugo Storrs immigrated from Russia and almost immediately went right into service here in the States with the Second New York Guns. And another ancestor on my dad's side, he enlisted later in the war and was one of only 2 Pennsylvania regiments that served in the Western Theater, and was with Sherman for a short period of time when I was a little escapade into towards Atlanta. But and then a few great uncles and things like that. So.